Hi and welcome to Culture Crazy Videos. I'm your host, Brand Lucy, and today I'm going to be showing you how to set up your Tibi starter kit from our site. So first off, I'll just go through the contents of the cup that you'll receive. Now we get asked why we use these little paper cups to send out our cultures, and the answer is pretty simple. It's because they're fairly crush proof, but even if they do crush a bit, they're actually insulating, which is the important part, to keep the heat out and keep cultures healthy on travel. So first off, we'll just have a look at the contents so that you know what to expect when you do order from us. You'll get your little culture pot that's got the actual cultures in it. This will be wrapped in plastic, and this sometimes swells or leaks a little bit into the plastic, and that's absolutely fine. It just means that the cultures have over-fermented a bit, and because they carbonate, they do tend to produce a lot of gases that will pop the lids occasionally. Mostly they don't, because we do actually leave enough room in there for a couple of days postage to build up, but occasionally they do in the hotter weather. You'll also get a lucky band and one of these cloths. Now I get asked why I send these ones out, because you don't want to cover your Tibicos, you want to actually use a lid. And the reason is because just in case you don't have a plastic strainer, or all you've got is a metal one, you can actually line the bottom of your strainer with this and it will protect the cultures. So that's why we send that out, just because it's a handy little piece to have in the kitchen. Now obviously you won't need this, and you can use it for whatever you want if you have one of these, a plastic strainer. Now remember, you can't use metals on any of the cultures because it will actually electrocute them, and be very cautious if it says stainless steel, because good quality stainless steel you can use just fine, but most of the time you're not actually buying good quality stainless steel, so do be aware of that. So now onto the actual setup. The first method that we'll be looking at is the recommended method of a really simple setup. There's nothing particularly complex about it, but there are a few ways of setting up your Tibi, and we'll be going through those in other videos. But for this first one, this is just the simplest recommended method. So you'll need a sterilised jar. To sterilise the jars, you can microwave, steam them, you can run them through a dishwasher. Don't, however, use detergents, because detergents and chemicals leave residues on the glass that you can't see, but the cultures, it will actually kill them. So we don't use chemicals on any of our cultures. So to begin, undo your culture pot and empty the contents into your jar. Next, we need 1 cup of water. Now, your water choice is really important, and you should actually see our water choices video just for some information on how important it is to actually use the proper water supply. This is just pure spring water, there's no chemicals, no anything in it. And we've got 2 tablespoons of sugar. Now this is just unbleached white sugar, or unrefined white sugar, I'm not sure which it's called. This is an organic brand, but you can use any. Now Tibicos does actually prefer white sugar. I'm not really sure why. I think it's because of the simple carbohydrates in it, and it really just digests it quite easily. But you can use any sugar that you want, as long as it's a natural sugar. Don't go using any artificial sweeteners, including stevia. Again, see our sugar uses videos for more information on why sugar choices is also important in culturing. So we want to just dissolve the sugar into the water. Because I'm using caster sugar, it dissolves a lot faster. So just a bit of a stir, and then top up your jar. Now this is our F4 formula. You'll find this on the website. This is already, it's filled with all the nutrients that Tibicos and Kombucha need to thrive in their environment. It's got lots of like minerals and vitamins and everything that it needs, and you only need a tiny pinch of it in 250 mils. That's about 1/4 of a teaspoon, 1/8 of a teaspoon even. You just need a tiny amount. Don't go overusing this. Now, one little pot like this, I'm often asked, oh, that's really small, and yeah, it does look small, but this is actually like a year's supply. It's heaps. You only need to add this once a fortnight or so. It's really effective stuff. So then, once you've added your formula, pop in the jar, give it a little bit of a shake just to make sure everything's all dissolved. And then we sit that aside. Now the first batch will be sitting aside for between 24 and 48 hours. We want to long ferment this one, and that's because it's probably in shock from travelling. Tibicus really doesn't like to travel very much, particularly in its fresh form. So we let that ferment for 48 hours. Ideally. In hotter weather, 24 is fine. Now it may not bubble in this batch, and that's fine because we're not actually drinking this batch. This batch we're just going to throw away once it's fermented, and then we start again. Now your regular maintenance and setup of Tibi is really easy. This is all you have to do. Now keep in mind that this is the first ferment. Tibi usually takes 2 stages, but we do actually have another video that will show you how to just do a 1-stage fermenting, but it doesn't use water and sugar. However, for this traditional method, or the easy traditional method, we're pretending that this is 48 hours later. Through our plastic sieve, we strain off our cultures, in this case Tibi, and then we simply repeat the process. Now you will need to do this at least every 24 hours with Tibi to make it drinkable. So once again, you simply add it back to the jar. And there you have it. Honestly, that's all there is to it. It's a really quick, simple method. And then with this, like I said, the first batch we'll be throwing away. We don't drink that because it's not going to taste very nice. It's probably flat, it's probably not going to fizz, and it's probably not particularly probiotic. So we'll just discard of that first batch. It's from the second batch that you're ready to go. Now keep in mind that your Tibi will actually grow every 20 to 30 days or so if it's properly maintained and nutritioned. So this amount is just your starter amount. Within a few weeks, this jar will be way too small for it. You'll be moving on to bigger ones. But we'll cover that in a later video. So for now, that's all you need to do to set up your kit, and that's one of the reasons why we no longer send out paper instructions. You'll find that it's a sticker on the side of it. Just follow it. Easy done. So for now, I'm Brad Lucy for Culture Crazy Australia. So we hope you've learned something from the video and you found it really easy to set up. If you've got any questions, send it to info@culturecrazy.com.au. Happy culturing.